Hey, how's it going, guys? My name's Daniel, aka HashLips, and welcome to my channel where I teach you how to code. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Canvas API, a great HTML tag that allows you to be creative by putting images on the browser, manipulating images, and much more. This video forms part of a series for me to introduce you into the Canvas world. Now we're going to start off by showing you how to do something powerful and actually show off the power of Canvas in a nice interactive way by creating a crowd simulation much like this. It's not going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort, but what it's going to allow you to achieve is something similar like this, as well as you experiencing how powerful Canvas can really be. Keep in mind that these avatars in real time run around with JavaScript code running it at the back. That's how cool it is. This is not a video. This is purely an HTML element rendering characters live on the screen and having them walk around. Seeing how cool this is and what you guys are going to learn, this is just to show you the power of it, and in this series we will have a deep dive into Canvas to see what's plausible. Now, for this video, to get you started, let's set up your development environment. To get started setting up a nice HTML environment, let's download Visual Studio Code, and once you've done that, open it up on your machine. Once we are here, what you'll see is a screen like this, and it's very important to actually install an extension. The extension we want to install is called Live Server, and you can simply search for it up here. It looks like this, and you can click Install. This will install a dependency that will allow Visual Studio to host HTML files on a local host in your browser. Next, let's open a new project. So click at the top, File, Open or Open Folder, and we can basically go to a place where we would like to save this. I'm going to do it on the desktop, type in maybe HTML, and then once I have that folder, click on Open. This will give us a folder on that directory to work with. We would need an HTML file to kick this all off and also to host on our browser. So right click, say New File, and we're going to call this index.html. Once you have this, we can now start typing out the HTML. Let's start with a declaration. We need to type in !doc_type so that we can tell the browser that this is HTML. Next, we need our HTML tag opening and closing, as well as a head for any information on our page and a body. Then we can add a title. A title is important because it pops up at the top tab, and we can call this Canvas. Now this will just be there for a placeholder, and every time I save it restructures my code, and that's because I've got Prettier down here installed as a dependency too, so you can install that if you would like to. But moving forward, something that we'll also need in the head is maybe a styles attribute for if we have CSS styles. I just want to place it there, as well as a script tag here at the bottom. This is where the JavaScript will live that we type out, and in the body we can simply put a canvas with an ID canvas. This is used to reference the canvas and make changes to this HTML element. That is it for our setup. Remember the plugin that we installed, the Live Server. Down here you should have a button saying Go Live if you are on the current file that you want to go live with. If we click it, you can see that it says starting, and it will pop up our browser and actually host the page at this local host address with the port 5500. So basically this is our HTML page. There you can see index.html. And if we go back and maybe add something in our body, maybe a p tag, and we just write hello, save it, and we go back to the browser, you can see there it is. This white space is where the canvas is living currently. If you jump back to Visual Studio Code and you want to stop hosting this file, you can simply click on this and it will dispose of it. Now there's another way you can host these files by simply right clicking on an index.html, and here you should say open with Live Server. This will achieve exactly the same result if you want to do it this way. We can jump back and get rid of this p tag and start our journey learning Canvas. Now that we have our development environment set up, we can take a look at an interesting website that I want to tell you about. It's called CodePen.io. This website is there for developers to experiment with their code, show off what they can do, and also allows them a browser version of playing around with languages such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and it even allows a developer to use libraries, creating an in-browser experience of a boxed-off environment for HTML and a playground in essence. But what we want to use it for is to look at examples. So we can basically go ahead and type in Canvas, like so, do a search, and actually see projects that people have used Canvas in, maybe HTML, CSS, and just look at these amazing projects that's already here. The one that I want to point out and that we're going to be looking at is this one, this crowd simulator. We have to give credit where credit is due, and the developer and the creator of this project is Senja Zadvornik. I hope I pronounced that kind of correctly, but anyway, go and check him out. Very cool. And how this program works, or this website, is that it displays kind of the HTML over here, the CSS that was used, and the particular JavaScript. This is using a Babel compiler, but we will see if we can make it work in our environment setup. So the first thing that we'll need is this canvas, and we already have that in our HTML. We are also using an ID, and if we jump to Visual Studio, we can confirm that there is our canvas with the ID canvas. We can go back, and let's go ahead and copy the CSS. Just copy that, go back to Visual Studio Code, and then we're going to paste this in the styles tag over here, like so. Let's go ahead and copy all of this JavaScript in this section here. Now, once you have copied every single line, I press Command A to select everything, copy it, go back to Visual Studio Code, and in here in the script section, we're going to paste it all. You can see that there's a lot of JavaScript that's been written to make this possible. Now, some magic. If we go and stop our port and go live with this again, hopefully we will get the same result. We can see that we have a blank screen, so like a true developer, right click, inspect the page, go to the console and see that we've got a missing reference called GSAP. So now what we can do is copy that and search for it in our file, and we can see that it is being used for some kind of ticker, and we most probably need to import this package. This is no problem, so what we can do is maybe create a variable and use a require statement to kind of require this package to be here. Or what we can do alternatively is include it in our head section. So let's go and find out what tag we need to incorporate, which library this is, to go ahead and include it here. By doing a bit of research, I realized we need this library over here. So now go ahead and include this in your head section, and this is the library, and once we have this we can save this, and when we go back to the browser we will see that our crowd is now there. Now this is obviously some crowd and people pulling in from, I don't know, some kind of image, or let's go and check it out what's happening in the code. When we go back to Visual Studio, we can see that there's this config and there's this source pointing to an S3 bucket. And if we copy this and actually paste it in our browser, let's see if we can go to this link right here. If we do this, we can see that this actually brings up a sprite page. Now, to make it easy for yourself, take this sprite page, drag it onto your desktop or wherever you want to save it. You can also right click and say save image, and go and replace your characters with these. I've gone ahead and used Photoshop to replace my characters, which are these sketchy apes, into a sprite sheet exactly resembling what they have. I went over each character, overlaid it, and then removed the background. Now you can do this in various programs. However you achieve this, it's pretty fine, as long as you can get something like this. Now that I have this sprite sheet, I can go back to my HTML, and instead of referring to this S3 bucket location, I can simply refer to my sprite sheet over here in the same directory as what this is living in. So when we replace this with our sprite image and we're just locating the local one, we can hit save, go back to the browser, and there we go. Now our images are walking around in this amazing crowd, and I just want to say thank you to this developer for creating this example. It's a really innovative way of using Canvas, JavaScript to have a live execution of our program and a crowd simulation. Keeping in mind, the purpose of this tutorial was just to get you guys interested in Canvas. Now I know you might not know what all this JavaScript means and how to use it, But stick with me in my upcoming videos and we are going to take it to the basics so that you can fully understand what's happening and write your own awesome Canvas project. This is great because Canvas is a great tool for us to use and introduce into the NFT world because it's so dynamic and it can render in the browser. Now, if you've loved this content, please give me a thumbs up and a comment below. I really appreciate it. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe. We love getting new family members in the HashLips community. Till next time, cheers for now.